Hi everyone, welcome to this video where we will learn about how to control cost while working with AWS. My name is Aishwarya Sood and I am 3x AWS certified, also an AWS Academy accredited educator, and I am working as a lead coach in the AWS domain in the training delivery. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn. This is my profile name, and you can also scan this QR code to directly view my profile. So let's begin today's video and see what's the thing that we are gonna learn today. First, we will see a little bit about the cost control, and then we will proceed towards the different techniques for cost control, which will be including cost anomaly detection, also the cost optimization pillar of well-architected framework. Then we will proceed to learn the few tools that are used for cost control on AWS, including AWS Cost Explorer, Pricing Calculated Cost and Usage Reports, and AWS Budgets. So let's start with the first thing for today. AWS enables you to take control of cost and continuously optimize your spend while still building the modern scalable applications to meet your needs. And AWS breadth of services and pricing options offer the flexibility to effectively manage your cost and still keep the performance and capacity that you require. And AWS provides a plethora of cost management tools which provides different kinds of insights. We will go through each of the cost saving strategy while studying the associated cost optimization services, which include AWS Cost Explorer, AWS Cost and Usage Reports, AWS Budgets, Cost Anomaly Detection, etc. And getting started with cost savings for an immediate impact basically involves the following things. First, choosing the right pricing models. It involves like choosing the right type of EC2 instances and other purchase recommendations of RDS and Redshift, etc. to reduce the plans. And it also involves the savings plan to reduce the compute costs. Another thing is to match the capacity with the demand. It involves using AWS Cost Explorer and other tools by using the resources as per the requirement and to prevent the under or over utilization. Then we have implementing the processes to identify the resource waste, which says that apart from stopping and pausing, there has to be some kind of mechanisms to identify wastage of cloud resources. So this section will discuss identifying such resource waste, like we can say identifying the wasteful storage in EBS and same in the S3, and deleting resources which cost you money. So let's first start with the different techniques and best practices that can be followed for cost control. And once done with the techniques and best practices, we will move towards the tools that can be used on AWS. So the first technique that we have come across here is choosing the right pricing models. For certain services like Amazon EC2 and Amazon RDS, you can invest in the reserved capacity. So with the reserved instances, you can save up to 72% over the equivalent on-demand capacity costs. Reserved instances are available in 3 options: all upfront, that is also known as AURI. We have partial upfront and no upfront payment options. So basically it is like you will be just reserving some capacity of EC2 instances over a period of either 1 year or 3 years, and you will be getting a discounted price for your EC2 instances as compared to the on-demand EC2 instance pricing. And customers can use spot instances also to receive up to 90% of discount as compared to the on-demand prices without even making a term-based commitment. And they are ideal for the applications that are fault tolerant, scalable or flexible, containerized workloads and high performance computing, because this is like if we get the spot instances, they can be interrupted by AWS at any point of time with just a 2-minute prior notification. So keep in mind, they are not for critical workloads but for immediate requirement for large capacity of EC2 instances, which is like not very critical and just a temporary requirement. We can very well go for spot instances. Next, we have got is savings plans. Savings plan is a flexible pricing model that will provide savings of up to 72% on your AWS compute usage. So this pricing model is quite flexible and it offers lower prices on EC2 instances usage regardless of the instance family, size, operating system, tenancy, or AWS region also. And this also applies to AWS Fargate and AWS Lambda usage. Once you sign up for savings plans, your compute usage is automatically charged at the discounted savings plan prices. So basically what you do, you commit for a dollars per hour commitment that for a period of either 1 year or 3 years, I'll be using this much of dollars per hour of compute that will provide you a huge savings as compared to the on-demand pricing. So this is quite flexible than the reserved instances option that we got earlier. Okay, let's go ahead with the next technique, that is matching capacity with the demand. So we can use Cost Explorer resource optimization to get a report of EC2 instances that are either idle or have low utilization. We can then reduce the cost by either stopping or downsizing these EC2 instances. There are few other solutions also available like AWS Instance Scheduler to automatically stop the instances and AWS Operations Conductor to automatically resize the EC2 instances. We can also use the Trusted Advisor. The check is there. One check is there in Trusted Advisor, which is Amazon RDS idle DB instances check, which is used to identify the DB instances which have not had any connection over the last 7 days. And then we can also analyze our DynamoDB usage by monitoring two metrics that are available in CloudWatch: consume read capacity units and consume write capacity units. So these both are available in the CloudWatch, and to automatically scale the DynamoDB tables that we can use the auto scaling feature. Let's move on to the next strategy now, which is implementing the processes to identifying resource waste. So here we can reduce the cost with Amazon EBS volumes. How? The EBS volumes that have very low activity, less than let's say 1 IOPS per day over a period of 7 days, indicate that they are probably not in use. And we can identify these volumes using a check that is available in Trusted Advisor, which is underutilized Amazon EBS volume check. To reduce the cost, first snapshot the volume, maybe in case you need it later, and then delete these volumes. You can automate the creation of snapshots using the Amazon Data Lifecycle Manager as well. Next thing that we can do is we can reduce the cost with the S3. We can use something known as S3 Analytics to analyze the storage access patterns on the object data that set for the 30 days or longer. What it will do, it will make the recommendations or where you can leverage the S3 infrequently accessed class to reduce the cost of the object storage. So you can automate moving these objects into a lower cost storage tier using the lifecycle policies. Alternatively, you can also use S3 intelligent tiering, which automatically analyzes and moves your objects to the appropriate storage tier. So in this lecture, I am presuming that you are aware of these storage services and a few other services that we are seeing here, because this is not a deep dive on those services. This is just how we can control the cost. So if you want more knowledge about these services, we have a separate videos for each of these services. You can check it out on the same channel. Okay, so next strategy that we have got here is in the implementing processes, we can reduce the cost with networking also. Here we can use a check that is available in Trusted Advisor, which is known as idle load balancers check, to get a report of load balancers that have request count of less than 100 over the past 7 days. Then we can delete these load balancers to reduce the cost. Okay, next thing that we have got is cost anomaly detection. So with the help of this cost anomaly detection, you can reduce the cost surprises and enhance control without slowing the innovation with AWS cost anomaly detection. Okay, and also this leverages advanced machine learning technologies to identify the anomalous spend and root causes, so you can quickly take the action. You can also save time on investigating the spend anomalies by receiving the automated root cause analysis, pinpointing the potential cost drivers such as usage type, for example any kind of data transfer cost, then specific AWS service or maybe a region, and any member accounts in the the AWS organization. We can also stay informed of spend anomalies through automated detection alert via email or SNS topic at the frequency of your choice. Okay, and with 3 simple steps, you can create your own contextualized monitor and receive alerts when any anomalous spend is detected. So these three steps I will tell you in a while, and we will also see that on AWS console how we can set a cost monitor and how the cost anomaly detection can be useful for you. And one can get started by creating AWS cost anomaly detection by Cost Explorer API or directly from the cost management console also. So right now we will be setting up through the cost management console itself. So this is basically like if you are using AWS regularly and your spend has automatically increased a lot, suddenly it has increased a lot, and you are wondering where it is coming from, what's the root cause, which region is this, which service is this. So if you want this kind of thing to be automated, you can get help from the cost anomaly detection, which will use the machine learning to give you the results. Okay, this is the root cause, this is the region in which you are incurring the cost, this was the reason, and this is how you can prevent it. So what are the 3 steps that are included here? First is to create a cost monitor. The cost monitor creation process will allow you to create the spend segments and evaluate the spend anomalies in a preferred granular level. For example, an individual linked account, and if you want to evaluate your production account separately from your development accounts, you would choose a specific linked or a member account as your cost monitor, an individual cost category value or an individual cost allocation tag, so that you can monitor them separately. Then you set a alert subscription. Once you have created your cost monitor, then you can choose your alerting preference by setting up a dollar threshold. For example, alert on the anomalies with impact greater than $1,000. You don't need to define an anomaly, for example, percentage or the dollar increases, as anomaly detection does this automatically for you and adjust over the time. And that's it. You will be done. Then you can start monitoring your activities. Anomaly detection will begin to work within 24 hours and you will be notified if any anomaly meets your alert threshold, and you can visit your anomaly detection dashboard to monitor the activities, including any kind of anomalies that are detected that are below your alert threshold. So you can go ahead and check that very well in the dashboard that you will be getting there. So let's go ahead and see how we can set the cost anomaly detection. On the AWS management console, when you go to this cost management console, here on the left navigation pane, you will be able to see this option, that is cost anomaly detection. You just need to click on this and you can get a walkthrough of how to get started, or you can skip that. Here you need to click on get started, and the first step that you will need to do is to create a cost monitor. Here you get 3 options for detection history. This will come once the anomalies are found. Here we can create the cost monitors. Here we can create the alert subscriptions and also edit that after creation. So here, first step, we will create a cost monitor, and once you click on create cost monitor, you get these 4 options. AWS services, linked account, as I just told you on the PPT also. AWS services, like if you want to monitor all the services that are there like individually, okay. And then linked account, if you want to monitor the total spend for a individual linked account. And you have got cost category also, if you want to monitor based on a particular cost category value, and cost allocation tag, if you have assigned the cost allocation tags with different services for different environments. You can go ahead and select this option. For this demo, we will be selecting the AWS services itself, and here just give your monitor a name. I will say first monitor, and then click on next. So here I have to create a alert subscription. Okay, here I can use an existing subscription also, or I can create a new subscription. First, I will have to give a name to my subscription. Okay, like this is something that will uniquely identify this subscription. So let me give this as first subscription, and here I will say threshold you have to set, which is the spend amount for which you would like to receive the alerts, and I would say 100 or let's say 10 itself. And then alerting frequency you have to set, specify when you want to receive the anomaly alerts. Okay, you can set individual or daily or weekly. So here let it be daily itself. And then alert recipients, here you have to specify the email address where you want to receive the alert when some anomaly is found, depending on the threshold that you have specified. So I will give a random email here. So I click on create monitor and it will be done. The monitor has been created, and you can see the monitor has been created and there is one subscription in this monitor. Okay, so one subscription is there. I can add more by going to the subscription and then editing. I can also edit the subscription. I can even add more subscriptions if I want. Here it is showing the detection history is 0 because you can see I can start receiving the alerts within the 24 hours. Okay, so it won't be available immediately. Only if there's anomaly that it has detected, then it will send me an alert. I will go back to the cost anomaly detection. Here I can go to the alert subscriptions. I can create a new subscription or I can edit the existing one, and here I can edit my cost monitor and I can view the details, and here the detection history will be visible. So that's how cost anomaly detection looks like, and this is how you can set it up. Now let's go back onto the slides and let me show you how the anomalies will be coming. Here I have taken screenshot. I have saved an image for showing you that how the results will be appearing in the detection history. You can see with the date, along with the severity, that it's a low severity or it's very high, and also the duration. The service also will be shown that this is the root cause. This is the one which is incurring much of the cost. There are some anomalies found in this service, and all the details will be given, and accordingly you will be able to edit them, so that furthermore the cost should not increase unnecessarily. Okay, and then let's go ahead and discuss about the cost optimization pillar. So the cost optimization pillar of well-architected framework focuses on avoiding any unnecessary cost. Here the key topics will be including the understanding and controlling where money is being spent, selecting the most appropriate and right number of resource types, analyzing the spend over the time, and scaling to meet the business needs without overspending. So what does it say? What are the practices that are included in cost optimization pillar? It says measure the efficiency. Also, it's an ongoing requirement. The cost optimization is an ongoing requirement for any good architectural design. It isn't like that you have controlled the cost today and tomorrow you are all done, and for the next year also you are not focusing on the cost control. No, it's an ongoing process and you will have to continuously keep checking the cost, so in order to keep it in control. Understanding how efficient your current architecture is in relation to your goals can remove any unneeded expense, and also eliminate any unneeded expense by looking into what's not in use, like any unused resources that are there in your AWS account that are there. You can just go ahead and delete them. Okay, and any stale snapshots, any stale backups that you don't need anymore, you can also delete that. Also consider using managed services because they operate at cloud scale and they can offer at a lower cost per transaction or service as compared to the unmanaged services. Always look for the ways to optimize the cost while using AWS. And then comes a best practice that can be followed for optimizing for cost. This is a best practice which you can follow for cost optimization because AWS services use a variable expense cost model, which means that you pay only for the individual services that you need for as long as you use them. Within each service you can optimize for cost, and many services offer different pricing tiers, models or configurations. So for implementing this, ask yourself these questions: that how often will I need to use this resource? Is it a long term or only for a short period of time? Can I replace any of my servers with the managed services? Like, can I replace my EC2 instances with the Lambda functions? If so, go ahead and do that, because it will be a difference in the cost. Lambda will be cheaper for the fewer workloads. And how do I make sure to turn off resources that are not in use? Okay, as I was telling, that any unused resources, any unneeded resources, make sure you delete them and turn them off. Are my resources the right size and type for the job? For example, I need a T2.micro for my workload, T2.micro EC2 instance for my workload, and maybe I am having a T2.extra large. So that is not a good thing. Check that, are they of the efficient size, are they perfect fit for my job, or do I need to increase or decrease, so that the cost can be optimized. So these were few techniques that can be used to control the cost while working on AWS. Now let's go ahead and discuss a few tools and the services that are available for the cost control. Okay, so first, that is, here is a Cost Explorer. It is a tool that enables you to view and analyze the cost and the usage. With the help of Cost Explorer, you can filter the graphs like this by values such as API operation, any AZ, AWS service, custom cost allocation tag, EC2 instance type, purchase option, AWS region, etc. In addition, you can also see a forecast of the future cost based on your historical cost data. Okay, so you can change the duration from here, and you can view the past 13 months of data and the upcoming 3 months forecast, the charges of the forecast of the charges, that also you can see. Okay, the past 13 months of usage and the coming 3 months of charges can be forecasted here. And also, some of the other benefits of using Cost Explorer are, like, you can set a custom time period and determine whether you would like to view your data at a monthly or daily level of granularity. You can dig deeper into your data by taking the advantage of filtering and grouping functionality. As I told you, there are a lot of filters that are available by which you can view the cost and the usage data over the time. And you can also use a forecasting to get a better idea of what your cost and usage may look like in the future, so that you can plan ahead and you can increase or decrease your usage accordingly. Once you arrive at a helpful view, you can save your progress as a new report that you can refer back to in the future. Okay, this kind of visual representation it will be giving you. You can currently save up to 50 custom Cost Explorer reports. Another tool that we have got is AWS Pricing Calculator, which lets us explore AWS services and create an estimate for the cost of the different use cases on AWS. We can model our solutions before even building them, and we can explore the price points and the calculations behind our estimate and find the available instance types or contract terms that meet your needs. So basically, without even creating the resources on AWS, you want to get an estimate that, okay, if I do this and do that on AWS, how much I will be charged. If you want that kind of thing for you, just go ahead and use a pricing calculator. What you need to do, I will show you on the console. You just need to enter the services that you might be using and the configurations that you will be doing for them, and then you will be getting an estimated price for what you might get charged if you do this and that on AWS as you have given in the pricing calculator. Okay, it won't create any real-time resources. It will just take the configurations and the services that you will be creating, and on that, whatever is the current pricing for them, it will give you a estimated total that, okay, this is what you will be getting charged if you do like this on AWS. So we have got 3 calculators offered by AWS, which is Simple Monthly Calculator, which can handle most of your important calculations for you, and it is very easy to use. Then we have got Pricing Calculator, which I just told you now, which can be helpful for creating the estimated totals. And then we have got AWS TCO Comparison Calculator, which is Total Cost of Ownership Calculator. This calculator will be used to compare the cost of your on-premises environment to the cost of an AWS environment. So let's go ahead and see how the pricing calculator looks like. This is where you can access the pricing calculator. This is a website, calculator.aws, and here you can click on create estimate, and you will get a list of all the AWS services. Okay, let's say I want the EC2 instances, or maybe DynamoDB tables, or EBS volumes, or EFS, or even Elastic IP. Okay, I can add as all the services whichever I want for my entire architecture. Okay, for keeping it simple, let me select only one or two services. Let me select this EC2 instance itself. Okay, so we will configure this. For EC2 instance, here you can add a description for your estimate. Here you can define the region in which you will be keeping your service. Here you can specify the specifications of the EC2 instances that you will be creating. Okay, like what is the operating system that you will be using with your EC2, and then how many CPUs you will be using, okay, the GPUs, and then the memory, or you can even search by the instance name if you are familiar with that. Otherwise you can enter these configurations manually, and it will map to a available instance type accordingly. And then quantity, how many EC2 instances you will be launching, okay, and then what will be the utilization percent of those EC2 instances per month, whether you will be utilizing them 100% or less or what. Okay, whatever is there you can specify here, and then what pricing strategy you will be following, whether you will be choosing the on-demand instances or savings plan or reserved instances. If reserved or savings, then what will be the reservation term? If reserved, what will be the payment option that you will be using? What is the configuration of storage, the EBS volumes that you will be using, that you can specify. Then here it will give you the estimate. Okay, the EBS pricing which you have given the configuration here. If I decrease, the pricing will also decrease, and the EC2 instance pricing that you will be getting monthly, that also is given here. If you change the pricing model, let's say if I do the on demand, you can see the pricing per month has increased, because on demand is quite costlier than the reserved and the savings plans options. So accordingly you can do for all the services that were there. Once you click on add to my estimate, then you can go back to the select service list, and then you can add another service, you can configure it, you can add that also to the estimate, and finally you will be getting an estimate like this, that what will be the total 12 months of cost, what will be the monthly cost, and what will be the upfront cost. And this way you will be getting for all the services. This right now I have just added EC2, that's why it is just showing for EC2. So you will be adding more services, like from here also you can add, and even support plan if you will be wanting, so that also can be added from here. And then you can get the entire estimate, so that you can get an idea that whether it is worth moving to AWS, or what will be the estimate, that how should I set my budget, how much money should I keep for it, and accordingly all the cases. Okay, so let's go back to the slides and let's look on to the next tool. So next we have got the AWS Trusted Advisor, which is an online tool that provides recommendations that help you follow AWS best practices. So it will analyze your entire environment, and then it will provide you the advices and the recommendations that this is where you can improve, this is all okay, and this requires your immediate attention. Okay, it gives you a various checks in different quotas. You can see the cost optimization category, the performance, security, fault tolerance, and service limits category. So in all these categories it will give you these kind of checks, like investigation recommended, and then no problem detected, the green one, action recommended, this one, and then no problem detected, again the same thing, no problem detected. Yeah, this it will be giving you all the recommendations, and it evaluates your account by using these kind of checks. What checks we have got here? These all categories, like the cost optimization, to help you save a lot of cost by recommending you to delete any unused or idle resources, or using the reserved capacity. Under performance, it can tell you how to improve the performance of your services by ensuring you to take the advantage of the provision throughput and monitoring for overutilized EC2 instances. Then under security, it can tell you how to improve the security of your application by recommending you to enable the AWS security features and reviewing the permissions for the access that you have given. Under fault tolerance, it can increase the availability of your AWS application by recommending you to take advantage of auto scaling, health checks, multi-AZ, regions and backup capabilities. Under service quotas, it will be telling you the maximum number of service resources or operations that apply to an account or to a region. It will notify you if you use more than 80% of a service quota. Like for every service, we have got a certain limits. So when you are approaching around 80%, you will be getting the alert or the recommendation from the trusted advisor. Okay, and then we have got a few checks in the trusted advisor for cost optimization, which can be helpful. Like okay, the cost optimization is a category itself. We have got a few checks like the RDS idle DB instances, which will check the configuration of your RDS instances for any instance that appear to be idle. Then underutilized Amazon Redshift clusters. This is a check which will check your Redshift configuration for clusters that appear to be underutilized. And then underutilized EBS volumes. It checks all the EBS volume configurations and warns when EBS volumes appear to be underutilized, and then any idle load balancers can be checked from the idle load balancers check for which the usage has been less over the past few days. And then low utilization Amazon EC2 instances check for checking who are running at any time during the last 14 days, and this check alerts you if the daily CPU utilization was 10% or less and the network input output was 5 MB or less for at least 4 days. All these checks can be helpful for the cost optimization in various AWS services. And next we have got the cost and user reports in AWS. These are the reports which provide you a most comprehensive set of the cost and the usage data of your AWS resources, and also provides the estimated cost for that usage. It contains the most comprehensive data, as I told you, all the data that in which region you are incurring the charges for which service and whatever it is. Whenever you want detailed information, just go ahead and set up the cost and user reports and you can get all the data that you want. Also, if you want accurate details of your bills, then surely you should enable it. For time granularity, you can choose one of the following, like hourly. If you want your items in the report to be aggregated by the hour, daily if you want the report to be aggregated by the day, and monthly if you want your report to be aggregated by a month. And apart from this, you can upload to AWS Redshift or AWS QuickSight for analysis. The report can be sent to there. If you want further analysis of your cost and usage of AWS, you can send it to these two services. Okay. Next and the last for this video, we have got AWS Budgets. So AWS Budgets is a service which will provide you the forecast of your estimated cost and tracks your AWS usage, including even your free tier usage. So basically, when you are getting started on AWS, you might have something in your mind that, okay, this is a budget that I will keep for my AWS usage, but that's in your mind. If you want that to be controlled by AWS, like you want to set a budget that when I reach that particular budget, with my AWS services usage, please alert me so that I can control my usage and I can spend accordingly. Okay, so that I can stay within my budget. So that kind of thing can be done through the AWS budgets. We can also use budgets to create Amazon SNS notification that will tell you when you go over your budgeted amounts or when your estimated cost exceeds your budgets. We can create custom budgets. We have the option to create 4 types of budgets. In fact, like we can create a cost budget to monitor the cost against a specified dollar amount and then receive alerts when user defined thresholds are met. And then We have the usage budget to monitor the usage of one or more specified usage types or usage type groups. And then we have got savings plan budget, which are used to track the utilization and the coverage associated with your savings plan. And the last one is the reservation budget, which is used to track the utilization or the coverage associated with your reservations. Okay, it can also be integrated with multiple other AWS services, for example AWS Cost Explorer, to better manage the overall cost. We have got different benefits for AWS budgets, like the custom budgets, as I just told you, and we can stay informed with the alerts and the reports, so that we keep an eye on what's happening, what is a control, what is a cost that I am incurring, and how do I need to control my cost. Okay, and then granular budget time periods. I can specify like how it should be sent to me, how the alert should be sent to me. I can set it on a granular time period. Okay, and that's it for this video. If you want the demos for each of these services, we have a separate video for cost and management tools on AWS on the same channel. You can check that out as well, and we will meet in the next video. Thank you.